Dzień dobry, witam Was w drugim odcinku Świata według Luka. Ten odcinek będzie po angielsku, ale znajdziecie do niego napisy, jeśli chcecie go lepiej zrozumieć albo pouczyć się angielskiego. My guest today is Chris, an American sailor who's been living in Poland for the last 2 years. Hello, Chris. How are you today?
I'm good. And now that we're on the record, I'm going to ask you a question.
Of course.
What is your name? How many names do you have? We had this discussion before. You got like 15 names.
It's kind of a funny story because it started with Fernando Pessoa, who's like a Portuguese writer, and he created many heteronyms. Heteronyms in literature are the persons you create and you give them something more than a nickname. You give them like a story, you give them like some purpose and background. And that's why I changed my name to Luke once. It was the day of my 32nd birthday. It was Gordon City playing in Stalf in Nottingham. And I just met a guy who looked like a sailor. He looked like he's been traveling around the world for the last 40 or 50 years. And this guy, I spent the night in the patio, you know. You don't meet people who are over 70 sitting in a patio in a house club, you know. So that's why I sat with him and we talked all night long and we exchanged our names at the end of the night, and he took my name, Stanislav, and I took his, Luke. And since then I decided, I try to be Luke, and that's my kind of heteronym, but it works well for now. Although most people, even knowing that I would prefer to be called Luke, they call me Stanislav, which is I'm getting used to. It's their choice. So if you don't mind, you can call me Luke.
Okay, so that's my point. See, we're on the record. All of you Polish people have 15 names. I don't understand it because you said Stanisław, you said Luke.
Yes.
My friends call you Staszek. I don't know what the hell to call you. You got like 15 names. All of you do. I don't get it. It's crazy.
The thing with names, you know, how about in English? You are called Chris, but in documents probably Christopher.
Tak, yes.
Aren't you? So in Poland, let's say there are some names that have like 10 or 20 versions, and it depends whether they're official, whether somebody from family can call you differently. And you know, my name, I was born as Stanislav, and you can call me Staś, Stachu, Stasiek, Stanisław. So it's got like, my name is probably one of the...
So I can meet you 15 different times and you can give me 15 different names.
Yes, just with one name. And imagine when you have 10 heteronyms. But it's a niche.
Yes. No, I mean, I'm Christopher, yes, but Chris normally, and I have nicknames, obviously, so yeah. Okay.
What's your favorite nickname there?
I mean, I think I have a nickname here, unfortunately and fortunately. They call me, what is it, Panjebin or something, because I always have my afro picking my hair, you know.
Yeah.
And then my home nickname is The Black.
Really?
Yeah. I'll tell you about that one. That's funny. I was a weird dude growing up. Okay, I'm still weird, but whatever. But I was a weird dude growing up. I was into this, into that. And, you know, in high school, you don't know who you are. Nobody knows who they are in high school.
Of course.
No, freshman, junior year, sophomore year, you don't know. And then I'm walking around the hallway junior year, halfway, and I see these weird white guys doing, you know, the TV show Jackass.
Of course.
So I see these guys doing some Jackass stunts in the hallway, and I'm like, hey, what's going on, man? What are you guys doing? And ever since then, you know, I was the black, you know, and then I wasn't even the only black guy, but I was the black, you know. The big black Chris was there, and Steve and Rob and all those Rodney, all my friends, you know, those are my friends now. We was, you know, just doing stupid stuff in the hallway. And I've been the black ever since, you know. Even when I'm talking to them, the first thing I say to them is black, black. Like, that's just, you know, that's me, you know. And then, you know, be in the Navy, I ended up gaining the nickname of Nasty somehow. I didn't know exactly how I got that name, but That might be for next year's podcast.
Of course.
Yeah. Also, I gotta say it stipulation just to make sure my thoughts are my own. They don't reflect my employer. I don't want to get hemmed up while I'm on vacation. I gotta say that. It's one of those things. You know how it is. Jobs and stuff.
Of course, we just touch gentle topics here, and
Oh no, we can go hard, brother. We can go hard.
Of course, so we go hard. How do you find this? That where people call you black friends? What if somebody else would call you like this, not knowing you? Because sometimes it happens in Poland. Have you met situations like that?
People maliciously pointing out the fact that I'm black? Oh, unfortunately, I've lived around the world long enough that I'm just going to say it, but I'm used to being called a nigga all around the world. And Japan wasn't that bad, but when I lived in Italy, I traveled around Europe, different countries, and little kids would say it to me because they think it's cool. They may have never seen a black guy in person before, and they're like, oh, it's my first chance to say it. I've been listening to Tupac and Biggie all of my life, all of my 8 years. I'm going to say it to this one black guy that looks weird. And it happens, and it's happened a lot here in Poland, but what am I going to do? Beat somebody up? There's no value. There's no teachable. There's nothing I can do with that. It's like I just wag the finger at him like, no, and just keep it moving, It happens. And there's very little I can, especially with me being in my uniform. There's nothing I can do about that. You just have to be positive and keep it moving. That's all I can do. And then at the end of the day, people get to know me and they realize I'm just a weird dude that likes to have fun and likes meeting people. So none of that even matters, man. Now, obviously, in America, if that happens, it's a whole different ballgame because they, know better. But I understand that it's different here, So hopefully my presence changes that. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? It happens.
Do you find Poland as a xenophobic country?
No, I wouldn't say that. But it's clear that Poland is Polish people, whereas, other countries, there may be more of a mix and diversity. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like Japan, for instance, it's like 98% of Japanese citizens are Japanese or something. Like, it just is what it is. It's not a bad or a good thing. It just is what it is. I come from a country of multiple colors and religions and races and this and that. So it's just everywhere is different. Everybody's different. And just enjoy it. Enjoy the differences, really, honestly.
So one day you're waking up and you're finding out, I'm going to Poland for the next 2 years. What was your first impression?
What in the hell is Poland? No. I'm a little smarter than that. No, I was just unsure of what exactly was really here because I've been here before. I was in Bydgoszcz in 2017. For a mission, and that was the first time I had pierogi, and it was fried pierogi. Oh, it was so good. It was on this restaurant right on the river. Oh, it was so good. So I was like, okay, I'll go to Poland and eat pierogi. Cool. And then I get here, and I'm like, oh, this is different. Because, that's a bigger city there. So I'm here, there's a big difference. So I just didn't know what to expect. I've been pleasantly surprised. Hell, look at me, I came back for vacation. Who comes back to Słupsk for vacation?
You either stay here all your life or you coming back for good.
We'll see, może. Who knows? We'll see.
But you're right. Who's coming to Słupsk for vacation? So what made you coming back to Słupsk for vacation? What are qualities of this city that you really like? Because I understand that you're not going to all the places you ever been on a mission, and it's been quite a few places.
Yeah. Like I said, I've lived in Guam, Japan, Italy, Poland. Now I'm going to Bahrain. I've gone for work. I've gone to Moldova 3 times. I've gone to Macedonia. I've been to lots of different places, all over Asia as well. It's comfortable here. I'm really comfortable here. And I ran into a really good group of friends. I didn't even expect that to happen. That's what it is here. It's the people. I ran into a lot of really cool people. Was not expecting that. And the beach. Okay, so I did not expect the coastline to be that nice. Łeba, Orzechowo, Jarosławiec, Słupska, I go all the way to hell. I just was not expecting that. But no, I'm here because my friends, we planned on going to a festival, and we decided to go to Audioriver. And then a couple months ago, my coworker was like, hey, I got an extra ticket to Sunrise. Do you want to go to Sunrise Festival? I was like, well, I'll change my flights and come a week early. So yeah, Audioriver first. That was the main reason. Then I came early for Sunrise. And then my buddy, he does photography. I was like, well, if I ever come back, I want to do a photo shoot. And I'm back, and I did a photo shoot, so that was fun. And obviously, what we're doing right now. You and I had talked about doing this, so.
Of course.
Yeah, it's been eventful. Audioriver was fun. Sunrise was fun. Anybody listening to this, please go to festivals. It is so much fun. When the weather cooperates, by the way. Oh, the weather.
Did you dance like all the time, or how do you spend time at festivals? Because I find it hard sometimes to connect my need to talk to people and to withdraw and just focus on the sound music and just dance all my stresses off. How do you spend festivals? How did you spend Audioriver and Sunrise?
Well, so this was I've never actually been to a festival before. So
wow,
this is
first one ever.
Yes. So again, Poland's a lot of firsts for me in Poland. I mean, it's music that I listen to anyway. I listen to techno and house and drum and bass, trance, blah, blah, blah. And DJs that I like. I've always wanted to see Sasha and Digweed live. I always wanted to see Carl Cox live. I got to do that. And that was crazy to be able to see that. And you can't do anything but dance, and just enjoy it. You got a drink in the hand and people around you, everybody's vibe and everybody's enjoying it. You just dance and make small conversation, walk around, get a hot dog, eat something, go to another stage and just dance, And then you're there with your friends, so it makes it even better, It's a hell of an experience. I'm glad I did it. Absolutely. Again, I might be here next year for more. I don't know. I will see. We'll see.
So from people from all over the world, if you want to try festival for the first time in your life, come to Poland, come to Audioriver, to Sunrise. Come to Słupsk, we have festival here one day as well.
Was it Polo Disco? Was that it?
Polo Disco.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going there. No, I'm good. I'll have to give that some serious thought, brother.
I know that you're trying to, or you've been a DJ as well. Can you tell me how a sailor man can be a DJ at the same time?
Oh, I can't tell you because I haven't touched a set of turntables in years. Mine broke years ago, so I need to buy some new ones. I want to buy some new ones to get back into it. Drum and bass, I initially never really liked drum and bass. It was weird to me. I was listening like Richard Humpty Vision and just like weird stuff back then. And then I was working at a music store and I grabbed this one CD because I was like, what if somebody was rapping on a techno or a house beat? And I saw this, this album sitting there, LTJ Bookum's Progression Sessions Volume 5 with MC Conrad and DRS. I'm like, oh, maybe they're rapping on his beats or something. And I put that in my car and it just blew my mind. I get chills even thinking about it now. And that's how I got properly introduced to drum and bass. And I've really wanted to, do that. I've always wanted to do that. And I bought turntables from my coworker. I was working at a store called Gadzooks years ago in the mall. Bought turntables from her. I had bought some records and I did open table nights here and there. I had fun doing it. And then, I was like, oh, I'm in the military now. I'm going to go take it with me. And my turntable's broke and I just haven't bothered to buy new ones. But I might get back into it. We'll see. But drum and bass for sure. I love it.
How do you find people in here? Polish people are very affected by American culture, basically, since we are born, we have access to it, and we do really hard to kind of follow it and to kind of copy this way of lifestyle. Are we getting any better?
I'm saying this with all love, but I was at salsa night last night. And I'm looking at people dancing, and I'm like, oh, God, the dancing, jeez, man. We'll get there. You'll get there. But, America's biggest export is culture. And that's a weird concept to even think of. I'd never thought of it like that until I left. And I've traveled, and I've seen so many things Americanized around the world. And then, on the flip side of that, I've seen so many things that America has absorbed from the world. It is the world. everybody's exchanging information and knowledge and skills and culture. Yeah, I see a lot of it, but I'm in Poland. I don't want to experience America in Poland. I want to experience Poland in Poland. Like, does that make, yeah, that makes sense, right?
Of course.
Yeah, I don't even want to speak English. I'd rather speak Polish, and I definitely cannot speak Polish. I think I have maybe 10 words, tak, może. I'm not going to say any other ones, but, I'd rather experience Poland in Poland, not America.
The command of English among Polish people, how do you find it? Are they easy to talk to? Are they like a challenge for you? What's the level when you go to the shop or when you've been to festival?
Quite a few people speak English, understand it, write it, text it, read it. Quite a few, and even some of the older generation, they'll try their best, and I'll try my worst Polish. So I mean, it's funny to see that and hear that. It's good to see that. The younger generation, obviously, they learn it in school, so they're able to converse a little more. I mean, you and I, we're close to the same age. You got English down pretty good. No, it's the world language. I mean, I speak American, you speak English. American's it's a little different, but it's the world language, and everybody's picking it up and using it, and we're all able to communicate with it.
And what about this salsa night? What did they do wrong?
So I was telling my buddy Bartek, I'm like, where I'm from, we see the cha-cha slide and the electric slide, and R. Kelly's music would come on and everybody starts stepping. And it was similar to that, where everybody was dancing in, one line together. But I'd never seen those moves. I don't know what they were doing. I was like, I'm going to sit here and drink my whiskey and Coke and just watch. I don't know what's going on right now. That was my second time going to 13. I didn't go before I left because it had just opened. And he was like, yeah, salsa night. I went with him last week. I was like, oh, this is a blast. So I invited some of my coworkers to come out. And, yeah, it was fun. That place is nice. It's nice in there. Good music, good vibe. Everybody's, pretty. Everybody's got, good clothes on. And they got the best dance moves. It's good there.
Is it your favorite place in Słupsk?
Come on now. You know what my favorite place is. Come on now. Dmówka. Come on. That's home, brother. Come on now. Come on now. Dmówka is home.
What was Dmówka for you?
It's comfort. Very comfortable there. Good people, good drinks. Bartenders are great. Owner management, great. So many random people I've met in there that, have affected me. And it's home. Dmówka's home,
What about food in Poland? Do you like it? Do you have your favorite one? Is it much different than the one in States? Because we can see, on the telly that they show us America as a place when everybody goes to buy some junk food all the time, Is it like this in America, or is it different? And how do you like it in Poland when it comes to food? Because food and music is a good connection.
When I went home last year and I came back, I brought boxes and bags of American junk food. And same thing this time. And one of my friends there, I brought their kids boxes of Nickelodeon green and orange cereal, kids cereal, and some other stuff. And they looked at me like, this is too much sugar. Please, no, not for the kids, no. I mean, our food is just crazy varieties of flavors. That's the hardest thing for me here, is the varieties of food. Like, you maybe have one or two flavors of Cheerios. I go to America, to the grocery store, and there's like 10 flavors, and then there's a very secret flavor, and then there's another secret. It's like, oh, goodness, I don't even know how to select anything. I just want to eat all of them. I don't know what to do. The selection's different, but the food here is fresher, more natural. It's different. This is a different type of food. I mean, the types of things you guys eat a lot of slaw and salads, lots of sausage. Obviously, pierogi is the thing. But I like bigos.
Bigos?
Yes. I have friends here, and their moms or grandmas make it, and it's good. Yeah, I think that's my favorite food here, actually.
So you said that when we are in high school, we don't know think about what to do in life, and and where to go when it comes to our future, and you're absolutely right. Did you ever think at that time that you're gonna be a sailor working in the Navy who will be traveling the world? And if it didn't happen, when did it happen?
Oh God, no! I never thought about doing that. My dad was in the Navy, but I had never thought of doing it. What did I want to be when I was growing up? I think at one point I wanted to be a wrestler.
Wow.
In the WWF back then. I wanted to be a firefighter at one point. You know, all the dumb stuff a kid wants to be, you know, all that goofy stuff. High school, I had no idea. I was a band geek. Actually, I played trumpet from 4th grade all the way to senior year of high school. So I was always in the band. So I was always musically inclined. Different little clubs and organizations. I hung out with the kids under the stairs, you know, the golf kids, and painted in all black with the black and everything's black. I hung out with them. I was all over the place. So I was absorbing all this. I don't know. I didn't know. Hell, I don't know what I was thinking back then. I was just trying to get out of high school, you know, in one piece. The Navy popped up after my daughter was born. And then, you know, I was working 2 jobs, was doing this and doing that. And I was like, man, what am I doing? And then my cousin joined the Navy a year before, and he was, you know, he had that experience. He was going through it. And I was like, you know what? I'm not doing nothing. I'm not doing anything of significance right now. Let me just go ahead and try it. And it was the best decision I probably made. I mean, hell, I'm sitting here right now. I probably wouldn't have gotten here if it wasn't for that, you know? And I've been successful to some degree in my Navy career. It's been fun. You know, I've learned my job the best I can do. I've helped people. Yeah, it's been fun. And it just came out of nowhere. I was like, well, might as well try it, see what happens. And here I am, 13 years later.
How is it living in so many places, working in so many countries? How do you adapt to the local surroundings? Because you probably have some friends who don't assimilate, who just, you know, staying within the base or just doing their things. What's your way of exploring places where you work and live?
So I joined late. I had my 25th birthday in boot camp, basic training. That was a horrible day, goodness. But anyway, and I said to myself when I joined, you know, I spent 25 years of my life in America. I'm going to spend the next 20 out. And that mindset for me means I'm going to go to these places and experience what I can. I may never come back to these places again. So I'm going to enjoy it, go see some stuff, eat something, meet people, go swim in the ocean, go to weird parties, just be a normal person in a different country. You have to enjoy it. Like I said, you may never see this place again. You never know. So 13 years now, and I've been all over the world, and it's been fun. You know? And you're right. You know, some people, culture shock is a real thing. Even for me, going back home to America is culture shock. As weird as that is, it's strange. It's really, especially this most recent trip back home. I had to go to San Diego for school, and it was weird. I was walking around downtown San Diego. I hadn't been there nothing like an hour, a couple hours, and all I'm hearing is English, and I can understand everything everybody is saying. Whereas when I'm walking around here, people are just speaking Polish. It's just noise. It's background noise. Whereas now I'm listening and I can hear it. I don't know how to carry myself. I don't know how to turn it off because I can't, because it's my language. I was really uncomfortable, really uncomfortable for a minute. I got used to it, obviously. It's home, but it was really weird. Yeah, America's weird. I love it. It's home, but it was very weird going back home. It's culture shock. And I guess that's kind of the weird part about being gone for so long and it absorbing all of these different cultures and the world is that I don't want to say forget about being an American, but it's weird going back home because you see it differently. You experience it differently. I experience it through your eyes because I see it from your point of view, and it's very weird. But I mean, that's just part of it. You know, you get to these new places, you learn about them, you see things. And it's great, man. It's just been great.
I've been to England for many years, and if I would stay here, I would be a completely different person, I believe. And meeting people, knowing their stories as well, it kind of makes you open to the world, and that's how it should be. How do you find the current situation then in the world? Because for me, it's you have half of the world who wants to be like this, and half of the world who wants completely other solutions. And you have it on so many levels, even political or cultural, or you have some stresses between nations nowadays. How a perfect Chris world would look like?
Perfect Chris world. Probably on Mars.
Really?
Yeah, I would like to go to Mars and start a colony of aliens and, I don't know, like space people. That's what I would like to do that. I don't know what's going on around here, but I'd rather just go do that. That'd be fun. Maybe Jupiter, I don't know. Start my own weird alien something in another planet. The Earth is crazy. We're crazy. I don't know what's going on. We're all nuts. And just like I was saying earlier, it's like we're all people. Let's just have fun and enjoy each other at this point. Like, it's 2022. We're supposed to have flying cars. It's supposed to be the Jetsons this year. Where are the Jetsons at? Why are we not there yet? Where are the teleporters? What are we doing? I don't know. I'm going to go to Mars. Give me a couple years, yeah?
I'd probably go with you.
Everybody, come on. I'll take everybody. No problem.
Do you have any special experiences from living in Japan? Japan is very exotic for Polish people. How was it there for you?
Japan is a very unique, very, very unique location. Extremely clean, extremely organized and orderly, safe. That's what really got me, was the safety aspect. The community is really a community, and everybody looks out for each other. The one thing that scared me the most the first time I saw it was like little kids, 4 or 5 years old, taking the train by themselves. And the first time I saw it, I'm just looking at these little kids, and I want to find like the police or something, because I'm not used to seeing that. But that's normal. It really caught me off guard. But I mean, the whole community is looking out for these kids. They're looking out for the elderly. They're taking care of each other. I didn't have to lock my car door. I didn't even have to lock my apartment. It's just a completely different culture. Food, I love the food there. I can't eat sushi. I'm allergic to fish, but they have enough other food items. Great food, nightlife. There's a lot of weird stuff that goes on in Tokyo. Yeah, we'll save that for another podcast.
Of course.
Yeah, Japan's great. All the train system, the public transportation system is flawless. You leave, let's say you accidentally leave your wallet on the train, it's going to be in your mailbox a few days later with everything still in it. You know, it's just a different culture, a different mindset. And while I was living there, I went for work and vacation to different countries in Asia, Thailand, Taiwan, Singapore, Philippines. Hell, I went all the way to Australia. Yeah, Asian cultures, there's so many different styles and varieties. Indonesia, I went to Bali. That was a great trip. Yeah, it's so many different cultures and viewpoints and experiences out there. Japan's great. Please go. I'm urging you to go to Tokyo. All you need is a long week. Please go.
Are you happy now?
At this exact moment, yes. In general, yes. I'm going a little crazy. I've never been on vacation this long, so my brain's kind of like, but yeah, no, I'm happy. I'm quite pleasantly happy. Yeah, of course.
What's your philosophy behind it? Is it other people? Are you good just by your own company? Do you connect it somehow? Because for me, to find a balance, you need to be good with yourself. So kind of practice being with yourself and open to the people, but you need to find a balance. Are you finding this balance?
No, it's I don't want to say it's impossible, but I think COVID made people realize that yourself is weird and not always easy to figure out and understand, because you have to spend a lot of time with yourself. You got sick or you got put on quarantine or whatever. you ended up spending some time with yourself, some significant time with yourself. And you start to realize, who am I? I didn't know this, I can go out in public and wear leather straps with a chainsaw, no problem for Halloween. And then I'm stuck at home and I'm going crazy. How am I more comfortable doing that than I am sitting at home by myself in my bathrobe? That makes no sense. I mean, I consider myself an extroverted introvert, I guess. Like, I'd rather be at home by myself, even though it's weird and difficult. And I'd rather be at home chilling, playing games or reading something or eating or sleeping. But if I'm going to go out, I'm going to have a blast. But, I prefer myself, I guess, to a degree. I'd rather just kick back and chill. Put my feet up and enjoy the breeze and enjoy a beer or something. I don't need to go out. But if I am going to go out, I'm going to have fun.
There's another question about balance, because one of the Polish writers said that at some point in your life you need to choose between culture and nature, because you can't do both all the time. Do you agree with that?
That's an interesting concept. You can't you gotta choose between nature and culture.
Yes.
Wow, I never thought of that. What do you think about it?
My view, I've been trying to balance it for a while, but it's getting heavier and heavier. From one side, you discovering nature and you see the world outside as it is, like forests, sea, mountains. From the other side, you have all this culture you create or you absorb, and it's constantly bombarding from mobile phones, from Netflix, from telly, from the radio, from podcasts. And I think that at some point in my life, maybe the writer was, over 50. Maybe at some point I will have to decide, because I like to experience nature. I spend more and more time as well by myself, just, walking across mountains. But culture it's always been important matter for me. For now, I'm trying to balance, but it's a heavy job as well. So we have two important balances, you versus the others, and culture versus the nature. And I think it's like a ability of a human being to balance it properly makes you fulfilled.
It's very difficult. And now that you bring it up, the older I've gotten to appreciate nature in general a lot more. Everybody knows me here, knows that I love Orzechowo.
Yeah.
The first time I went there, I thought I was in a mystical land. I was waiting for unicorns and fairies to come out. It was just the weirdest thing to me to see that place, walk through it. You drive from Słupsk, drive up, and you're in the city, and then you're in the farm area, and there's farms everywhere and land and all of this, and then you get into the forest, and you get out of your car, and you're walking through this forest with all these trees crooked everywhere, and a little bit of water here and there, and then you get to the edge, and it just cuts off, and it's the beach. I've never seen anything like that in my life. It's beautiful. And, as you're growing up, you're getting a lot of culture, like you said. You're getting the YouTube. These kids nowadays, they're getting nothing but YouTube. We didn't have that, obviously. We were talking about that earlier. It was MySpace. That's all we had. It was MySpace. Oh, God. I got to look at my MySpace page one day. Oof. But, we were getting everything from TV and all this. And, we went out to play. Now, they're playing on their tablets. It's just different lifestyle. Now that I'm getting older, I'm experiencing a lot more nature. I'm enjoying a lot more of it. And it's healthy. It's a healthy thing to get out and experience the air and absorb the allergies that I have right now. Golly. But I'm getting to see things that I would never normally see. It's a hard balance. It's a very difficult balance. But you have to do it. You have to work on it. And the older you get, the easier it gets.
I just have this thought that sometimes you have this nature is taking over by culture, because you have some cool places in, Thailand, Orzechowo, and then a few people come in and they say, oh, it's really cool, and we just live here and enjoy it. And then the all the big world is coming. They're building hotels, they're building infrastructure, hot dog stands and thing. And I always like to be one of the first to discover, but sometimes you can really cry when you see what's going on with nation. Are you at all concerned by the climate crisis?
Honestly, it exists, but it exists. It's there no matter whether we're here or not. Obviously, people will say that we make it worse. There's a lot of research out there. People should go and research on their own and make their own conclusion. All I know is it's hot as hell. That's all I know of. I was in Mississippi a month ago. I've never been so hot in my life.
Wow.
Ever. I've never. I think the black melted off my skin. I was so hot. It was horrendous. Oh, God. And now I'm about to go to the desert. So, yeah, heat. It's going to be hot. And there's no way around that. We're just going to have to deal with it. And wear less clothes. I don't know. It's just going to be hot. There's no way around it.
Let's come back to high school. You know, you have so many people now being forced to kind of choose what they're going to do. We don't have like gap year in Poland. No, not just a handful is going, you know, just to experience the world. So you're basically going to uni, and after uni, you would have to stick with the job you learn. Back in the years, it was like you had one job for your lifetime, you know. Now, young people need to know that they can become whoever they want to be, and they can start at any age, basically. That's what I'm experiencing, you know. I met some nurses who were studying nursing in the late 50s, let's say. Okay, let's leave it for now. Tell me, what's your way of being in such a good shape?
Me being in shape means eating. I just eat. I don't work out. Terrible. I know. Absolutely terrible. I just have halfway decent genes. I have really good genes. The joke is, you ready? Are you ready?
Yes.
I'm going to just tell the world this joke. Black don't crack. Always remember that.
Okay.
I'm going to stay half cute for the rest of my life and decent shape for the rest of my life, and I don't need to do anything to fix that. I will get in shape soon, I think. I need to. I'm getting older. Knee is hurting. Back is hurting. Starting to feel the wind a little bit in the back of my head. This afro's slowly trying to go away. So I gotta work on some things. But yeah, it's just there. I can't help it.
How do you cope with some psychological cracks you may have working in the Navy?
Just like any other job, you know. The only difference for us is I'm a sailor 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So that mindset of I need to be doing the right thing no matter what. You know, honor, courage, and commitment. Yeah, I said it, guys. Honor, courage, and commitment. That's how we are trained to live our lives. You get put in situations that you have to deal with and you have to really think about. And sometimes it's difficult. But, you know, that's like any other job. You get put in a position, you got to make a choice. You got to make a decision. Do I do this or do I do that? And sometimes that decision may stick in your head for a long time, and you have to process that and sort it. Hell, that's just part of being an adult. That's just growing up, you know? Yeah. There's things you do, people you interact with. Maybe it was a good idea, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a good choice, maybe it wasn't. That's just growing up, you know? You have those cracks, and you just have to process them and trust that you made the right decision, and you just got to live with it. Made the right choice, made the right move. It's hard. It's hard to know what your brain is going to think of what you did 10 years ago. Now, you know. Yeah. There's no way I know what I think about some of my decisions back in the past. What am I going to think when I'm 50? No telling. No telling what effect my life now is going to have on me then. There's no way to know.
Some people analyze it all the time, and they never rest.
Yeah.
They never live sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, so culture, you love music. What apart from music, do you have favorite movies, shows? Are you into any other medium?
I like video games. I hate to say that. Maybe, I don't know if that's a good thing to say. Video games are fun. I can't wait to play Elden Ring. I have wanted to play Elden Ring. I haven't touched it yet. As soon as I get settled in Bahrain, I'm getting a PlayStation 5, and I want to play Elden Ring so bad. Yeah, I'm a Souls fan, guys. Sorry. I like technology. I'm a Samsung person. I'm allergic to apples. They're horrible. Uh-oh, I hope I didn't say anything bad. I don't like apples, guys. I don't like apples. I'm a Samsung guy through and through, so technology, I like technology. I like all technology. I like how nowadays we have this whole ecosystem concept. I can connect my phone to my watch, to my earbuds, to my refrigerator, to my TV, to my washer and dryer, and just control everything. I like watching the progression of technology. Yeah, I said that, where are the flying cars? But we're slowly getting there. And I love learning about that and watching that. My favorite movie, 300.
Really?
Yes. Beautifully gory movie. Oh, it's so beautiful. That stop motion, slow motion, heads flying. And yeah.
It's a war movie as well.
It's just beautiful. Beautifully done. Absolutely beautiful movie. It's a man's dream to watch that. Yeah, I love that movie. Beautiful movie. Yeah.
What about part 2?
It was all right. Yeah, it was all right. Sequels are weird. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. You never know.
What about blockbusters? I'm a fan of them. It's like everywhere now you have this kind of chains of blockbusters. You have or Marvel or DC, and you just bombarded by movies like every single month. Do you like superheroes?
I am so happy that Marvel is doing what they're doing with the movies. It brings the concept of reading comic books physically to life. I read comic books. I was more of a Marvel fan growing up. So I've read those comics. I know what those characters can do. I know their powers. I know their teams and their groups and alliances and villains and blah, 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 blah. So to be able to see it on the screen, it's like a dream come true, And they are very good at casting people in those roles that fit those roles very well. Yeah, I can understand the overkill concept because it's a lot. Because you got it in movie screens, you got it on Hulu or Netflix, you got it everywhere. You got video games of it. You still got comic books. It's overkill. I understand it. But at least for the most part, it's done very well. As being somebody who read comic books growing up, I'm glad it exists.
Have you ever watched a Polish movie?
No, my Polish isn't that good. I need to practice. Maybe that's how I'll learn to speak Polish, by watching a Polish movie.
Yes?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, there are some now on Netflix with English subtitles. Yes, they getting more popular. It's when we talk about culture and American culture nowadays, you have a massive production of movies and series from Korea, from Poland, and they getting popular all over the world. I enjoyed, for example, the Spanish one, El Casa de Papel. Have you watched this one?
Why is that familiar?
It was with these people who were trying to rob the bank, and they were I send it to you.
Yeah,
if you like. What about series? Because series are taking over movies now.
Yes, they are.
People just you have probably like 500 shows you could watch now. And do you have any favorites?
Not at this moment. I mean, there's just so many different shows. And I like cartoons as well. So Avatar, Last Airbender, and Adventure Time. I like cartoons and TV shows. I'm still a kid at heart. So any of the old cartoons that pop up, there's a show on Netflix, The Toys That Made Us. And it's all about the toys that we used to play with as little kids, like G.I. Joe and Barbie and all of that. And it just, each episode would be about that toy. Man, some of it brought tears to my eyes as I played with those toys, and to see the in-depth background, Lego. Check that out. And I think they made a spin-off, The Movies That Made Us. And I watched some of that, and it's like Aliens and Jurassic Park. They kind of go into detail a little bit, history and the cultural impact of those historical old things that brought us to who we are now, today. I'm not saying I'm a documentary guy, but I kind of like stuff like that, where you're getting actual information and you're being entertained at the same time.
So how do you find, after all these experiences or all the countries you've been to, how do you compare our generation with the youngsters who were born with technology and sometimes all they do is using it all day long. Sometimes it's like a substitution for going out to the forest or going out to a club, of meeting people in a real life. Do you think it's good when people focus only on being online?
You're making us sound old right now when you say the younger generation. We're not that old, are we?
We are probably the last generation that wasn't born with the mobile phones.
In our hands.
Yes.
Coming out of the womb with a phone in our hands. It's the technology is good that it exists. I just wish the drive, like we were saying, the nature versus culture. I wish there was more drive and desire to get out into nature and get out around people physically. Because you can talk to somebody with your phone all day long, but how's that conversation going to go in person? Can you have that exact same conversation in person? And, I don't know. I mean, I can see it with some of the younger, sailors that come in. Their mindsets are different. Their ability to communicate is different. And I'm saying different. I'm not saying bad. And us, as we get older, we're going to have to adapt to their generation. And then there's going to be a generation after them. And we're going to have to adapt to that. And they're going to have to adapt, so we all have to adapt to the different means and ways to communicate and express ourselves. It's awkward, I drink out of the fire hose. I drink out of the water hose at my house. I played outside and wrestled and threw walnuts at people, and I was outside. It's just a different generation, different culture, different technology. It is what it is. We just have to adapt.
Are you like a elder brother for these young sailors, and are you inspired by them, or are they inspired by you in some ways?
Both. I learned from them, and I hope they learn from me. That's all you can do in anything in life, is learn from whatever's around you. One of the things I say in my job is we all have a tool belt, and every day we're getting new tools presented to us. And it's up to you to say, you know what, I want that tool, and I'm going to replace the old one, or I'm going to not use it. That's just how it is every day. You're getting something new, and you're hopefully giving something as well. And it's just a mutual exchange of ideas. And that's why I think I like my job so much, is I am learning something new and experiencing something new and meeting new people all the time, especially when I was working here, because it's only a 1-year job. Granted, I was here for 2.5 years. I extended, but everybody is here for a year. So it's constantly new people I'm meeting. I'm doing their paperwork as soon as they get there. I'm gaining them into the system, into our command. And I'm meeting these new people on their very first day there. And I see it in their eyes. They're like, where am I at? And I tried to tell them, like, hey, you can catch a train and go to Krakow or Warsaw. You can go anywhere you want. You can go rent a car and go to Poznałem or Szczecin. Go do whatever you want. These different countries are close. You can go to Słupska and hang out on the beach. You can, I'm giving the information that I've learned. And, there's things that they're teaching me. That's all it is. All it is just putting new tools in your tool belt and hopefully sharing what you have, and they can share that with somebody else, and we just grow together and get better, more informed together. I love it.
Yeah, exchanging notes on life. That's what I love to do.
All life is exchanging information. That's all it is. And gaining knowledge. That's all it is.
Getting inspired and trying by yourself as well, because nowadays you have a lot of coaches. You open YouTube and they want to teach you everything, and you just take it, try it by yourself. Whatever works, you stays with you. If it doesn't, you just check somebody else.
Yeah, make it your own. You know?
Yeah.
What you learn and what you experience, you can turn it into something that is more you, and you can share that with the world. And then somebody else might take what you did and expand on that. That's what it's all about. What about you? Tell me something about you. Anything.
What about me?
Anything. First thing on top of your head. Something unique about you.
Something unique.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for a while as a care assistant in the UK.
Yeah?
I worked in care homes. I experienced people on the last days of their lives.
Oh, wow.
I saw so many people giving their last breath. And I think for me it was kind of transforming. You know, I just learned that we all the same. Life is quite short on some level, and you need to properly use every minute of it. You need to live your life to the fullest. That's what it teaches you. All this experience, and I can see that world is getting older now. We have this situation. It's in Japan, in America, in Poland, and the way we treat elderly, it's very important, and I think we can do much to improve it in the future. That's from my ground floor level of experience with elderly it comes to. What else can I say? Oh, I'm not good in talking about myself.
Why not? You can talk to everybody else, but you can't talk about yourself. Why is that?
Yes, I think I just sometimes I have this thing, you know, when I talk too much, I've been always like this, you know, I'm probably the most talkative person in the group, but because of this, my time one-to-one with myself completely vanished. And sometimes I think it's with plans and ideas, because I'm a master of ideas. So when you have this million of ideas and you just start telling, oh, I do this, I do that, and you just kind of dissolving it, everything. That's the problem with many people, because many people has got like a very good ideas what to do with themselves,
yes,
what to do to earn for a living. They have like billion-dollar ideas, notebooks filled with them. But the thing is that idea, I spoke actually with one of the best Polish networkers about it. And he said to me that idea is worth a złotówka, a dollar, you know? And what happens is when you transform idea into real life, and it never comes as you wish, you know? It's never perfect. But that's what kind of separates people. There are people full of ideas and doers, you know. And recently I started to be a doer, and I can see this change, and I love it. It's not easy, you know. You just wake every day. Something is stressful. You have some bad thoughts about it, but you just do your stuff every single day as you feel, not only by brain. Do you know what I'm trying? Because for me, people are kind of in free. They operate in three ways. You have your brain, you have your heart, and you have your soul.
Yes.
Whatever people say, that's what I believe. And most of the people, including me, they living their all lives in their head, you know. So they can go to Orzechowo and they can never experience what's there, you know, because they thinking, oh, what happened 2 years ago, what am I gonna do, and all of this stuff. And the big difference is to turn this head thinking, turn it off.
It's hard.
For a while.
It's hard.
Do you know some methods? Because I've been practicing, you know, yoga, meditation, trying to switch myself off. I love the book Be Here Now by Ram Dass, because he's saying about this, like, be here now. That's as simple as it is, you know. That's
a good phrase, be here now.
Yes. Just live life with your senses, with your heart, but But for me, it's probably the hardest job ever, and I'm trying on my own level. It's probably a lifetime lesson.
Oh yeah, turning your brain off is impossible. It's just there. It is just there, but it's always on, and it's always calculating and looking and feeling, and it's there. And it is so hard to turn your brain off and allow your soul or allow your heart to take a little bit of control.
Yes.
And then even when you do, especially if you try to let your heart take control of things, everything goes crazy. And then your brain is like, no. We need to fix this. And it's an internal fight at all times. And then your soul is sitting there, hey guys, I'm here. What am I doing? It's just how we are. A lifetime battle, lifetime internal battle that's never going to end. And that's fine.
Yes, but I observe it on the streets that it's becoming kind of a plague when people don't copy with it at all. You know, you have plagues of depression, of mental conditions that kind of ruin life, and they shouldn't, because when you would have the switch your brain off and just live, it would be so much simpler, you know, and you just need to find your way. It's not like meditation is for everybody. You know, I'm hyperactive, so I sit down for 5 minutes and I can't do much more. But there are people who meditate for like 8 hours a day, for 10 days.
That's crazy.
You have these Vipassana retreats, you know.
That's crazy.
They're popular in America as well, when you go for 10 days and you just meditate all day long. I think the guy from Twitter, he did it, Jack Dorsey, and many more, of course. And it's about just finding your place in all of this craziness happening around you, you know, because you can check your social medias and the news, and it gets you sometimes depressed straight away. And how to copy with it?
10 days of meditation. Can you imagine that? I couldn't be stuck in my own head for 10 days. I would lose my mind. I would lose the complete reason that I'm even there. I would go bananas. I know what's in here. If I'm stuck with that for 10 days alone, sitting with my legs crossed in the sand, I would go bananas. I don't know if I could do that. That's some dedication. That's some dedication to do that.
That's why I have kind of my own version of meditation, because for me meditation happens on a dance floor. When there is a good set, there is like the left speaker that I love, and this kind of vibe in there, and you can just move.
Yes.
However you want to move. You can close your eyes and just follow the sun. That's what I'm doing. And you just switch yourself off.
Yes.
And it fills you, the sun. That's why I love domówka, I love ulic elektryków, I love electronic music. Have you been to Kraftwerk at all? No. They were in
Dolina Charlotte,
last Saturday. Do you know, they were my kind of entrance to electronic music. I saw them 10 years ago in Poznań. And because I was more like punk rock guy, and I had this 3D glasses, hence technology comes in, you know, and you can see the show, and you have these 4 guys playing the music of the robots, music of the future, and for me, it's few moments I've had in my life when you becoming music, and it was one of them. One was a crazy New Year's Eve party back in Nottingham, organized by Lucas Wickflex, and you had this band UFO playing in like a wrestling cage.
Oh wow!
In some kind of abandoned warehouse.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's been my second entrance to electronic music, and my third one was probably domówka. So that's how it starts. You know, you have this few sparks, and then it
turns into a blaze.
Yes, turns into the blaze. So yes, electronic music is so important for me, and that's that's my way of I could do this for 10 days, 8 hours a day.
Oh yeah. Oh, so that I think I think for me, that's what got me so attached to Poland is the music scene. I've always listened to electronic music, but I've never constantly been around people who also listen to it. And then I get here, and then I get introduced to Demówka, and I'm like, oh, wow, awesome. And in other parties, going to Gdańsk, Sphinx, and
Yes.
Sopot, man, that place is great, you know? I never experienced that before. And as you said, you know, you can, that's the one way to turn your brain off is music that you enjoy. You can just shut everything down and just enjoy it and be free. It's such a great feeling. Sunrise did that to me when Carl Cox was playing. I just closed my eyes and I was just there, you know, just there for that set. And I didn't need my phone. I didn't need anybody. I was just there. And then my friends came over and they're like, we're going to go see Paul Van Dyke. I'm like, oh, man, that would be nice. That would be good, too. But I'm like, I don't, you know, I'm like, what do I choose? You know, I was there. Music could do that. It doesn't matter what kind of music it is. Everybody has their tastes and their styles, you know. Hip-hop would do that for some people. Rock, everybody has their... So, okay, you're trapped on a desert island. What 3 musical artists would you be able to listen to for the rest of your life?
Oh, I'd probably take, but it's just for today, choice, because...
it changes all the time.
Yes, it's like very
It's
synchronicities.
fluid. It's very fluid.
I'd probably take David Bowie, because I listened to him yesterday in the morning, just out of random after many months. And then I went to buy myself a suit. And in this company, in the suit company, they had T-shirts with Bowie. And I bought one with some Japanese, language on it, probably some cover of the record. And I started to listen more to Bowie, and I said, yeah, it would be Bowie. But I would definitely took my friend Easy Audio.
Yeah.
Because he plays electro. That's my genre.
That's 2. One more.
Yes. One more.
Everybody can get 2 easily.
Really?
It's that third one is impossible. It takes people forever.
Do you know, I would probably take some Polish band I used to listen to a lot when I was younger. It's called Pijama Porno. Like porn pajamas, you know, and
Okay.
and
I'm have to check that out.
It's like a punk rock band. They have few good songs about Poznałem, and the guy there was kind of my favorite outro slash, because it's like poetry. Sometimes lyrics are like poetry, so I would take one as well. Quite unusual choice, but as we speak straight from our minds, it's like this. How about you?
Oh man, it like you said, it's fluid. It changes every so often. Pink Floyd.
Oh, I would go with you then to a desert island.
Yeah, Pink Floyd. LTJ Bukem, my favorite drum and bass DJ, and then oh man, you know I listen to vaporwave of all things. Probably Telepath, the vaporwave artist. It's beautiful music, absolutely beautiful. Takes old music and makes it sound old and makes it sound like wanting for a nostalgia that you never really experienced. It's weird, strange music. I love it. And that's the thing about music. There's so much of it, so much variety. You could get lost in the catalogs of so many different artists. You know, my buddies, when they got me hip to Pink Floyd, I was like, what is this? This is awesome. You know, my favorite. And so Italy, that's why I was so stoked to go to Italy, is because their Live at Pompeii concert.
Of course.
DVD, man, that thing is gnarly. And then when I finally got to Pompeii, that was like a religious experience for me to finally walk in there and touch that. And they even have some of their old concert flyers in there still, posted up. I'm like, oh man, this is insane. I'm actually here. I'm actually touching the ground that they played on. Like, that's wild. The Wall is one of the greatest albums ever. I love The Wall. It's just so pleasant to and just watching it is a whole other experience. Yeah.
Have you been to a concert at all at the Roger Waters or David Gilmour or Nick Mason? Do you know that I've been in Nottingham? Nick Mason, who's the drummer, he was traveling with like a band, and they were playing first 2 records of Pink Floyd, which are the most psychedelic. They're not very popular, but it was an experience. But I always regret that I never been to the concert. And I have few bands like this that I was in the nearby. They were playing one of the last concert, Black Sabbath in Prague. I was there, one of the last concerts, and I never went cause people around me. And that's why I sometimes do it as well, because sometimes I prefer to go to a party or to a concert by myself, just to experience it fully. And I did it with electronic music. I did it with, I went to The Who in Wembley in London. And it was very spontaneous because I flew to London. I saw the billboard, Who playing Wembley Arena the same day. Called to my girlfriend at the time and I said, okay, can you book me a hostel, please? And I stayed there and had kind of a party. But Pink Floyd, there is one, Shine On You Crazy Diamond.
Yes.
I listened it to on a loop for like thousands, maybe not thousands, but hundreds of times, you know. And I was studying. Sometimes you have this music that is connected with some moments in your life, and you're just coming back to it on and off. So Pink Floyd is my 4th choice, or the start of the next
list.
One. Maybe next Deserted Island. Maybe it would be nice to live 1 year on each, you know. Or maybe travel across, you know, I would travel to Chris Deserted Island.
There you go.
For a year, you would like invite all the friends, we would listen only to your music.
Yeah.
Maybe next year in here. Do you have, apart from Orzechowo, places like this when you could, let's say, listen to music and be all the time when you would want it?
Places?
Places like nature places.
Man.
In Poland, in America, or your favorite around the world?
The forest in Bali, Indonesia. There was something special with the monkeys running around, and you can smell the trees and the fruit. And then you go walk through the temples, and oh man, it was like it was just the sound of the place was music almost. It just had a sound to it, and then the smell. And then the feel of the air, like it was a complete, the senses, everything. Everything was activated. That place is great. Oh man, there's been a lot of different places. Tool would also be on my list as well.
Tool?
Yeah, I like Tool. Yeah, and Deftones. They'd be on the list as well.
Oh.
I saw them live once, and I was very happy. And then Korn was actually closing, and so they followed them up, and I've never seen something that wild in my life. Like it looked like a hurricane in the crowd, the mosh pit. It was just spinning around like a hurricane. And I mean, I was younger. I've just never seen anything like that. And I was like, oh my goodness. And the show that they put on, it was mental. It was mental. Yeah, music does that. You know, it'll grab a hold of you and not let go. And it's in you forever. It's in you for the rest of your life. You can't escape music.
That's what I love. Mosh pit, you know, I find it that people or the world changes when it comes to mosh pit as well. And my kind of imagination of it, because I used to do a heavy mosh pit back in the years.
Oh yeah.
But it's like with football, you know, you young, you play, you go crazy, and then you meet with your mates who are over 30. and they just play like they're afraid of getting contusion, so it's not the same game anymore. And it's the same with mosh pit. I went to Metallica concert in Manchester once, bought like first row tickets, and I said, oh, it's gonna be like hurricane, heavy mosh pit and stuff. And all I saw were like people with their mobile phones taking Insta stories, and I still find like 20 guys doing some mosh pit, so I joined them, but it was just 20 guys, you know, on Etihad Stadium. I find that we need to find more places with mosh pit, because I still have this power to do it. Even I should take my friend's advice and just save myself, because I can have some bad knee later on or some bruises. After Metallica, I had, you know, my shirt was off. I had like 50 bruises. I couldn't walk for 3 or 4 days, and it was probably the one of the best moments for me.
You can start a mosh pit next year at Disco Polo, no?
Oh, yes.
There you go.
That would be... Do you know, I'm trying to incorporate... I'm trying to incorporate some kind of mosh pit from this punk rock world to techno world. And I find I have my success. Especially it works with drum and bass.
Yes.
I saw Black Sun Empire in Nottingham, you know, and it was this first row when you have barriers, and there were just people fighting with the barriers, like doing some crazy moves. And I was obviously one of them as well. One of the good music moments. Do you listen to some chill music as well? Some like ambient or kind of acoustic stuff as well?
Yeah, actually, yeah. A radio station, online radio station I listen to, Soma FM. I've listened to them, man, for decades. And they have all these different alternative music channels. They have ambient, they have space, they have just so many different varieties of chill music. And so, you know, if I can't access YouTube or other avenues, I'll just go there and I'll listen to that all day long. And I can just click and just change the different channels, and it's all something different. My style of music that I really like, I like it when it's atmospheric and kind of out there and atmospheric, different sounds, you know. There's a lot of stuff nowadays tends to sound the same. Everybody's almost doing kind of the same thing in their respective genres, but there's so many different other sounds that people could be doing. And you know, the stuff, mainstream stuff is the mainstream stuff for whatever reason. But there's so many different sounds out there. I like experimenting with listening to new things. I like atmospheric, ambient stuff. It kind of puts you at ease, you know.
Do you take some recommendations from your friends? Because back in the years I was working in the club, and we were finishing like on Sunday morning, and I had few hours of sleep, and my only way to relax during the week was when I was waking up in the afternoon, I had like a glass of wine, and I put my headphones on, and I put like playlists of Spotify playlists of my friends, you know, just to know them better, just to know how they doing when it comes to music. And I was inspired in so many ways. Do you do it as well?
I use YouTube a lot, and I do it with YouTube. Like, I'll find an artist or a song or whatever, and then scroll through the comments, and people will talk about other artists. I'm like, who's that? And then boom, I found a whole new artist I never knew about, and their music is awesome. And that's people for you. You know, they'll see something and talk about something completely different. You see it, then you experience it, and you just keep going. I've learned about so much different music that way. Just looking at the comments, looking at the tags, looking at the recommendations. We were talking about that privacy earlier. But luckily YouTube, YouTube sees exactly what I'm looking at, but they're good at recommending things that are similar to what I like, and I end up finding some new stuff that I didn't even know about. Just like I was saying with Vaporwave, of all things, random. You know, they had those memes on Facebook with factories doing whatever their process is with the weird sounding music. I'm like, what is this weird music? And then somebody in the comments said, oh, it's Macintosh plus floral shop, whatever. I Google this. I'm like, what is this? And down the rabbit hole I go, you know. I'm hearing all this new stuff for the first time that I never knew existed. And it's been around for years. I just didn't even know it. This is how it is, you know. There's a lot of ways to find new music and experience new stuff that you just never knew about.
You know, my favorite story connected with this. One time I was in Vienna and I was coming back to Poland. My brother picked me up, and we took two Spanish students. They studied medicine, and I gave them like a notebook, and I said, write me what you like when it comes to books or music. They wrote me a list, and one of the band they wrote was called Fuel Fandango. I checked it on YouTube, and I had, you know, my head exploded. And at that time, I Googled, maybe they play nearby. And they played in Hanover, which was like 10-hour drive from Wrocław at the time. And 1 week later, I drove 10 hours to see them for 2 hours to come back. And Fuel Fandango, for me, it was a lady, you know, on the stage. And she mixed rock with electronic, with flamenco. And her on the stage was mesmerizing, you know. I'm gonna send it to you and add it in links below. I really recommend Fuel Fandango and stories like this because it's a random story, you know, and it shaped my weekend later and my life as well in some way.
A 10-hour drive for 2 hours of something new, it's worth it. And in the end of the day, if it's worth it, hey, you know, you learn something new, you got a new musical artist, a new experience. Oh, hell yeah, man. No, that's what it's all about, completely.
You are a big fan of basketball. How do you find it in Słupsk? Because you've been to many NBA games.
I've been to a few NBA games. I went to a lot of Charlie Swoops games. That's fun. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. I was glad to be able to get basketball. And again, more stuff that I was not expecting to find and enjoy here. I wasn't expecting that. And those games that was so much fun. And at first it was a little tricky because FIBA rules are a little different than NBA rules. So at first I was kind of confused about a little few things here and there. But once I got used to what they were doing, and I was like, man, this is so much fun. Again, meeting more people, seeing people that I'm familiar with. Oh, it was so much fun. Yeah, I love basketball. I can't play. Horrible. Absolutely terrible. But I love watching it. It's my favorite sport, for sure. And then probably football after that.
Any other things that surprised you in here that you never expected?
I wouldn't say surprised. It's just, I knew it was going to be cold. I knew the Baltic was going to be cold. I didn't know how cold. That is some of the cold. Why is that water so cold? Oh, goodness gracious. I thought I put my foot in it. I'm thinking my foot's going to fall off. It's so rotten cold. Oh, man. Because Guam, for instance, that water is bath water warm. As far as you can walk in the water, it's just warm, feels good. You can just sit. Oh. And then I get here and I'm freezing with one toe. Oh, my goodness. No, it's this place is just comfortable. Very comfortable. Something about me, I love snow. So that's kind of what I was expecting. I was like, I'm going to see Santa Claus. I'm going to Poland. I'm going to see Santa Claus in the wintertime. You know, that's what I was expecting. And in that first winter, I got here December 2019, and there was snow on the ground. I got here the day after Christmas, and there was snow on the ground. I was like, yes. And there was not much snow after that. I was so sad. And then I think that was 2021 last year. The snow was on the ground and it wouldn't melt until almost May. You remember, it was just there. And I was so excited. But after a while, I'm like, my birthday's coming up and it's still snow on the ground. Like, what are we doing right now? What are we doing? So it's weird how I went from not a lot of snow to, oh my God, it won't go away. I love the snow. I love playing in it. I love driving in it. I hate being cold. I don't like being cold, like cold, winter cold, and it's just windy. But if it's snowing, the snow is coming. It's like insulation, you know. Even though it's cold outside, the snow keeps you nice and warm. I love it.
How about the Christmas experience? Because I heard that American sailors, people from the Navy, were there was a project. They were among Polish families. Did you experience like proper Polish Christmas?
Yes, actually, this past year I set that up actually. So yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, adopt a sailor. I said yeah. Anyway,
was that a good thing? Did people?
Because they last did it in 2019. You know, pre-COVID, all that. And I was like, man, I wish we could do that again. And even, I was getting ready to leave. I was like, I really want us to do that because you got to think about it. Some of these young kids, first time away from home, and they're in the middle of Poland, and they're like, I don't know what to do. So to be able to get them out with a family, to have traditional Polish food for Christmas and the traditional experience, man, that's such a great opportunity that the average person's not going to be able to get. A good friend of mine invited me to their house, their family, for Christmas this past year, and that was a good experience. Year before I was at a friend's house. It's you guys do a lot of fish. Yes, and that's the one thing I'm allergic to, so I always have to be careful with that. I'm like, I can't eat half of the table. I'm sorry. Just give me some bread. I'll be okay.
Bread and bigos?
Yeah, bread and bigos. Dobrze. Perfect. That's all I need. I'm happy.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's a very, very rewarding opportunity, is to be able to go to the local families and experience life with them, tradition with them. Yeah, that's just great. Yeah. No, that's good stuff. I wish everybody gets that opportunity. I wish everybody gets out and explores the community and gets really close and comfortable being here, because it's a blast.
There are other ways to experience culture. You mentioned something about having practices when you were younger in a museum. Can you tell more about it?
Oh, yeah. So my parents, they would... the Children's Museum in Indianapolis, I think my dad was working there, security there, and they decided to put me in the program, Museum Apprentice Program, the MAP program. And every Saturday, I would go and volunteer at the museum. That's where I met my oldest friend, Donald, my buddy Donald. We've known each other since he was 10 and I was 11. We've known each other forever. That's where we met, it's my buddy, man. And we would just be in there. I worked in Passports to the World, and, this gallery was full of stuff from around the world. You would walk in, you walk around the corner, you would have Day of the Dead area. You go back a little further, you would have like a dinosaur. It was just different stuff from different countries. And every so often they would have a flamenco dancer in there, and she would do dances with the dress and the hair and the music. And then every so often you would have a Maasai warrior, and he would have his shield and his sword. And I'm 11 years old. I don't know anything about the world at this point. I'm seeing this, The Day of the Dead area, we would have face painting. We would do little celebrations for certain cultural events, That stuff, and I think it put the bug in me then, and I just didn't realize it. Like the carom board, I knew what pool was. I've never heard of carom, the little board with the little discs, and you're hitting them. Birdie, his name was Birdie from Bangladesh, if I'm not mistaken. He taught all of us how to play it so we could, and that was the thing. We would learn all of this information at 10, 11, 12 years old, and all the other guests that would come in, all these other kids, we would teach them at a young age. We're teaching them about this stuff. Oh man, it was so much fun. And I never thought of the impact. I didn't realize the impact that had on me. And hell, I even started when I got old enough, I got hired there, and I was Rex the dinosaur for a little bit, the mascot. That was an entertaining experience. That's probably where I get the whole costume thing from. The leather straps and the body paint. I probably get it from wearing that crazy costume. Who knows?
Can you tell more? Because we originally met on Halloween. What's Halloween for you? And I really, when I saw you in Domówka, I thought you're the most interesting Słupszczanin ever. That's why I thought at the time, we need 1,000 Chris's in Słupsk.
Oh, no, we do not. No, we do not.
And
no.
we're going to change the world.
No. You do not want 1,000 of me running around with leather straps and a chainsaw. That's a horrible idea, brother.
Just on Halloween. What's Halloween for you?
Halloween is the one day of the year you can be whatever you want and get away with it. That's what it is. So I get body paint. I get whatever random devices and tools are around me. I grab whatever random clothes I can find. I don't think about it. I don't create. I just throw some stuff on. I do have one costume that one day in the future I want to create it. But overall, I just make something up on the spot. The leather straps are once every place I live, at least.
Wow.
At least. I've worn them in Guam, Japan, Italy. I've worn them everywhere, at least once. I don't know about the next place I'm going. I probably should not do that. But yeah, I love Halloween. You can just do whatever the hell you want for one night. Just be just wild and crazy. And everybody else is wild and crazy for one night. It just is what it is. I love it. I've put on some crazy outfits. That's just me in general. I remember I was on Facebook a couple of years ago and somebody posted some of my old photos from high school that people took when I had the cow costume on. I was helping out in a play, and I just wore this costume. It was a cow costume, and it had big rubber udders on it. And I'm walking around the hallway with this thing on for no reason. Oh, man. I was hanging out with the kids under the stairs, you know. I remember one time I walked in and I had a gas mask on, a lightsaber, and a Dracula cape. And I'm just hanging out with them, and they're just having a good time, just being goofy. And I'll never forget that. My teacher, she came out and grabbed me by the front of the gas mask and just dragged me into the classroom like, I'm calling your mama right now. Like, I've always just loved putting random costumes and throwing stuff together. Just goofy, you know, having fun. Yeah.
So we can say that you have many names as well, but just on Halloween?
Halloween is whatever I decide to do for that day. It is what it is. I don't even have a name. I don't even have a name for what that was. I just threw some stuff on and said, oh, here we go.
How about Słupsk? Let's say you're coming here in 1 year to record another episode of this podcast. How would you like this city to change, or what directions should Słupsk take according to you?
Well, we talked about that, like the nightlife. I wish there was a lot more to do at night that doesn't always require drinking and partying. I wish there was a lot more to do. And I mean, when I went back home last month, the downtown area back in Indianapolis has just changed into this eclectic, wide open. There's so many different things to do down there now. It was shocking. I was like, I didn't know my city looked like this. You know, that'd be cool to see more venues, event type things to do in the evening that doesn't always require partying and drinking and I don't know, some sort of entertainment complex with games and events and music and art like that you can do as an adult at night. You know, that would be awesome. And that's just anywhere I've always lived. I wish, you know, have more of that. But I mean, it costs money, costs time. You know, we were talking about volunteering and manpower. There's a lot that goes into those things. It is what it is, you know. We'll see. We'll see next year. If I get back here next year, we'll see. Yeah, of course.
It depends on people like us and on attracting positively crazy people who can do their bit, do their part in this
with good ideas,
development, with good ideas who are turning into the real life, not only staying here. And if ideas don't turn, we can always make some Netflix special about it or something like this.
Yes.
Okay.
Course.
My second guest in the podcast was Chris, an American sailor. Thank you very much for coming here.
Thanks for having me, brother. Appreciate it.
Good luck in Bahrain. And
good luck to you. Keep this up. You hear me?
Of course.
I'm gonna keep looking at your YouTube page. Get it fixed, and I need to see more of these. You hear me?
Of course. Be here now, Chris. That's my wish for you.
Be here now. Sounds perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks, brother.
Okay.
This has been fun, no?
Of course.
Yeah. We gotta do this again, no?
We do it every year.
Yeah, I might, you know. You come to Bahrain next time, we'll do it there. How about that, huh?
Oh, I would love to.